Dr. Hrabowski, it was a great presentation you gave. Can you tell us about your commission with the president?
Sure. The Educational Excellence for African Americans Commission focuses on those parts of the continuum in the learning process, starting with early learning, and then talking about middle school learning, and then looking at what happens in the first year of college, where we have a lot of students who don't do well, and then finally, what do we have to do to help more students graduating? And David Johns, who is the executive director of the initiative, is the full-time employee with his staff, and they are working on these matters all the time. They work with those of us who are volunteers who are on the commission to look at what we've been doing as a nation at the federal level and best practices across the country at those 4 areas, which I think are so critical. Beginning with early learning, and that really does mean first years in the elementary all the way down to birth, that whole period. How do we go about helping children to have the skills they need, sense of self, the whole person in that way that's so important to academic achievement in later life.
Your talk was very inspiring. If you hadn't seen the talk, what were the takeaways that you would like people to come away with at the OETC conference?
Sure. Most important takeaway is that the teaching and learning process should involve human interaction. Whether through technology or in person, that we must use the technology as a tool to enhance the process, but nothing takes the place of relationships and being able to connect to people. And the advantage of the technology now is we can even see people face to face through the technology, and that somehow we must believe that every child can succeed. High expectations, the importance of grit, stopping talking about smart. What does that mean? It's about grit. It's about hard work, determination. Learning to work collaboratively with others, very important. And struggle, the significance of struggle, that anything worth having actually requires a kind of struggle. It's very important.
You told really 2 stories about your mother, and the one actually brought some tears in my eyes, especially the poem. Can you tell me about the importance of your mother?
Sure.
And the lessons maybe and the inspiration she brought to you?
Sure. Both my parents were such hardworking, wonderful people of faith. And I tell those stories all the time because they're my stories. I think I'm saying to educators, use your own stories. As we tell writers, write about what you know. And so when I talk about my parents growing up in the rural South, as opposed to my growing up in the big city of Birmingham, and what they experienced, and about my mother's working in a home but learning to read well and to write and think critically and wanting to become an English teacher and loving poetry, all those experiences shaped who I am as a child. So her experiences as a child led her to become a literate woman, a teacher of English first. And then, of course, parents influence their children. And so I love, even though I'm a mathematician, perhaps because I'm a mathematician, I really appreciate the value of the humanities, of English, of literature, of talking about dreams and being able to express oneself with authenticity.
You talked in your speech about collaboration and the essentials of that,
Yes.
and how you've brought that to UMBC. How do we bring that to America as a whole?
Sure.
American educational system?
I think we have to look at best practices around the country. We know that our Chemistry Discovery Center, the course redesign in the teaching of writing and in teaching psychology, that all these initiatives have led to many more students doing well in their coursework. And that's important. What I didn't get a chance to talk about today is the importance of analytics and the use of data in looking at who is doing well in what particular areas of a course and how we use that information. This is what we do in the course redesign. When you dive into it, well, it's not that students aren't doing well, period. It's with certain concepts, students may not have grasped what they needed in order to move ahead. And so we need to use the technology in order to understand with specificity who is doing well in a course and in what part of that course and who is not. And then how we can rethink collaboration among teachers, among students in understanding how to solve problems.
Great. Thank you very much. Your speech was really inspiring.
Thank you very much.